Well, guys, we're gonna have a very interesting discussion today. This discussion is on the gender war, right? I'm gonna go through the gender war and help you guys understand that you all got it mixed up. I mean, everybody got the game mixed up, right? From my perspective, the narcs control the dating scene, they control the marriage market. The narcs are in control of almost all of the social systems that we have to engage with, right? Because we wasn't aware of their presence, and we certainly weren't aware of the impact that they're having on everyone from behind the scenes. Before AI and before networking computers and things like that, we didn't understand how narcissists, psychopaths, and social work because it was hard to identify their footprints. Now, because it's a electronic and a digital landscape, they cannot target you without leaving a footprint. And because they're forced to leave footprints because our societies have advanced as much, now they're detectable. And all the behaviors they do are detectable too. And so you can see some evidence of their disruptive influence. You can see the impact of the narcissistic toxicity, the gaslighting, the lies, the emotional, physical, and psychological abuse that happens in the dating scene. You can see why both men and women are up at arms. However, it's important that you understand this one very important thing. You got to get this. People, let's say women who have been abused by men, um, have a legitimate um, reason to mistrust all men, right? Same thing with women, same thing with men. Men who are abused by women or who have been abused by women um, have the right to sort of feel ambivalent or have issues with all women. That's just the natural response you would have. However, it seems to me that, let's say, the woman who's been abused by so many men, right? It seems to me that she is captured and inundated inside of one of these narcissistic networks, and she doesn't know it. It's probably her family, her parents, her mother, her father, her siblings, her husband, her spouse. All of those in some way play a very important role in that, right? Because narcissistic families push healthy people away, and they only allow you to have access to the people who would harm you. Narcissistic parents, particularly mothers and fathers, mothers particularly, damage their children intentionally to make them more vulnerable to other narcissists. They sacrifice their own children to narcissists for narcissists to have huge advantages over them in the future. And who would have thought that my mother is intentionally injuring me? So when I go and then blocking me from access to healthy people, so eventually I'm going to run into another psychopath, sociopath. But they've actually injured me in a way where I'm defenseless against this person. That's what's happening. It's happening on both sides, on male and females. If you, the people who are being abused by the other gender, it has nothing to do with the actual gender. It has to do with whether or not the person is either a narcissist, psychopath, or sociopath. Those are the only people whose mission is to unalive you through a grueling and torturous process. If you accept that, then you halfway to healing. If you accept that the narcissistic mother of yours only intended to use you as an extension of herself and refuse to allow you to develop your own individual identity outside of her, she's the one in control of you, and you're in a relationship with someone like that. right? Now, when you hear these gender discussions online, they take on a particular type of characteristic that I've noticed. It seems like the women describe the issues with men, and then the men describe the issues with women, but then you soon begin to see that they're not even talking about the same thing. The women are talking about something completely than the men talking about. And you'll see this when they sort of begin to talk about the gender issue. But what's interesting is when you see them talking about the gender issue, particularly people who are traumatized, they engage in the discussion as if they were a commentator, not as if they were someone who's trying to get an understanding through a conversation. Right? You have monologue and then monologue and then monologue and then monologue, but the pieces of the monologue are not in sync. You have her monologue, then his, and then hers, and then his, and it's like that. And then it's even present when you have people having reactions to the videos. Let me see if I can find one that I'm talking about. Let's see. I saw one gentleman's YouTube channel. He had a perfect example I wanted to show. I thought I saw. Oops, maybe it's on this one. Let me see. Man, the guy had the best video I wanted to see. Okay, maybe I can't. I don't think I can find it. Let me just see if I can just YouTube just the subject. Let me try one more time. Okay, let me just try and search something here, okay? Let me put this on stage here. All right, so let me see. Okay, dating is dead. Okay, dating is dead. Okay, let me see. Dating is dead. The downfall of society. Let me see what she has to say.
When you go on a date with someone and then not even a week later, he ends up getting back with his ex-wife.
I just saw a video of a girl getting flowers for her first date, and I'm going in my mind, oh, that's so sweet, that's so thoughtful. And then I open the comments, and it's one after another, people going, that's crazy, that's too much, what do you mean? That's just right off the bat, that's a red flag. And okay, so it's weird and abnormal to get someone flowers on a first date, but then it's totally okay to hook up. And if you want to hook up with a stranger, that's totally cool. People can do whatever they want, but I just find it so bizarre that you're condemning a sweet, thoughtful gesture and making it weird. It's so sweet and endearing. What are you talking about?
Now, unconscious people only want to get it in. They don't want to do all that. If you're an unconscious male, why spend the extra money when that's what you came here to do, right? That's what the unconscious do. That's what they do all the time. You don't need flowers for that. This lady may have empathy, and therefore she should never engage with the flesh. She should never engage with unconscious people. Otherwise, she's going to have a men issue, right? She's going to blame this on the men when really she's surrounded by a bunch of sociopaths. Once she finds men with empathy who are not sociopaths, they will be delighted to show her she's a very beautiful woman and she seems like she's very caring and insensitive. And so it shouldn't be a problem for her to have a guy give her roses and flowers and stuff like that. It shouldn't be a problem, but he has to have empathy first.
It's a strange thing to get someone flowers. It's doing too much to get someone flowers on a first date, but it's totally okay to go inside a random person you just met. My mom says to me all the time, I would never last in your generation. And honestly, I don't know how everyone's doing.
No one ever hits on me. I don't ever get complimented. I've been told that maybe it's because I have like a resting bitch face, which maybe I'm guilty of. But either way, it's just so sad because it's like, how else am I ever going to find anyone? That's why I feel like I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life, because I'm shy. I don't have many friends. I don't go out much. I just don't understand how this is going to happen. Like, are they going to fall from the sky? Workplace?
Anyways, however you want to call it, it's that I don't want to partake in. Like, I don't want to date. I just want to skip to the good part. And for the love of Jesus, if you've been married for 30 years, do not try to give me date advice. You don't know how it is out in these streets. Do not. Times have changed since 1995 there, Brenda. It's like we're trying to date in a world where loyalty is just nothing but another meme, and the options are just endless.
Yeah, she's in the flesh, right? She's in the flesh. She's surrounded by, she's on an app full of unconscious people, right? She's in a cemetery. She's dating in an app is a cemetery. She's dating in a cemetery.
Scroll to the next one. And I'm about to drop a truth bomb, but everyone wants a healed partner, but not everyone is willing to be a healed partner. Let that one sink in. And don't get me started on situationships. If that's not like signing up for heartbreak on a payment plan. And with that being said, social media convinced a whole generation that love is a transaction and not a covenant.
She said the narcissist flourished on social media. Where she's at.
Such a game. And if you don't play it, you get played. And if you do play it, you still get played, but you gotta at least swing the bat. I was texting this girl, and she hits me with how old are you? I'm an honest cat. I say, I'm 29. She goes, how long has it been since you haven't used a capitalization in your text messages? You know what, bitch? Fair point. Let me change that shit right now.
So why the fuck is everybody either stuck on their ex, they want to hook up with every heartbeat on the block, or they'll lead you on and then say they don't want a relationship because they're stuck on their ex or they want to fuck everybody on the block? What the fuck is that? All right, I've been single now for, I want to say 4 years now. I've been in one relationship. I've had one girl that I've called my girlfriend. I dated her for 3 or 4 years. And we dated from age 16 to 19, 20, and then we broke up. And I haven't dated anybody since. I've talked to people. I've entertained, kind of.
Well, he's doing good. You're doing good, bro. You're doing good, man.
Talking stages and almost relationships, but never actually dated somebody. And I'm just wondering, like, what happened to our world of dating? Like, I should have been born in the 80s, where you talk to a girl, you say, hey, like, let's go out on a date. And then you go out on a date, you decide, hey, I like you, let's go on another date. And then you go on another date, and then you say, hey, let's date. And then you date, and then you get married. What happened to that? What the fuck happened to dating in your early 20s or your late 20s or at all?
Here, trying to find better. Trying to find someone, period. Look, I hear you. Do what you gotta do. My honest opinion, in this generation, ain't nobody out there, babe.
You're right. Ain't nobody out there. The only thing out there are the narcs destroying people who reach outside of themselves. You know, we're having a change. Our society is changing. Things are going to change a lot. They're going to change for the better.
Ain't nobody out there. I don't know who you looking for.
I'm stuck between two extremes of dating right now. My first extreme is like, oh, I can't chase after these men. If he doesn't like me, that's gross. He's giving me the ick. It's disturbing if like I have to be chasing after him. That's one. Then the other one is like, fuck it. I don't care if I have to text him 3 times. I don't care if I call him, he doesn't answer. Like, I don't mind being crazy. Like, I don't care. I'm just like being silly. And like, what is he going to do? Be like, get away from it.
Old and you're going back into dating, like, why does it still fucking hurt? I hate it out here.
I personally want to thank the men that still do the cold approach. They still come up to you, introduce themselves, and in a kind, respectful way shoot their shot. Because I'm telling you, that is not easy. Some girls are just horrifying. And I'm a girl myself, so I can say this and not be attacked for it. But genuinely, some girls are terrifying. Because you could even throw a compliment at another girl, and they could give you the meanest, darkest look that you have ever experienced in your entire life. They look at you like scum, and they can't even take a compliment. There was one time that I went up to this girl because she was stunning. And I just was like, okay, she has to know. She just got it going on. She has a cute fit on. Of course, I'm going to go hype her up. So I walked up to her and I was like, hey, girl, I just wanted to say I love your outfit. You look so beautiful. And the reaction I got, it was the slow head turn and the thanks. Yeah. So, men, I get it. Okay? It made me feel horrible. And I was like, wait, why do I feel bad? I was just hyping my girl up. And I'm not saying that all girls are like this because, yeah, there's going to be shitty people and then there's going to be amazing people.
Narcs.
Amazing social media and the way that our culture works. It's insane to think about.
Dating in this generation is actually just a game show at this point. It's literally survival of the fittest, I swear to God. Because by the time you figured out the rules of the game, you're already out. So it's actually just who's the most clever at figuring out the rules of the game first and praying that another girl doesn't kick you out. Because I'm not wrong.
So she's saying there's rules to the game. It's not working for me. See, this is why, the narc is inside this dating culture controlling everything. All right. And you don't get liberation from that until you simply step outside of the dating scene. You have to be able to build your life where you have the same type of activities, the same type of experiences, but it's just not with the public. It's just not with strangers. Right now, instead of going to a club where you're one of many, now the advanced club going will be you host a get together there and you are part of the evening. That's the new part of going. I think that's the going out in the information age. I think, remember in the 80s, you go out to a disco, a club, and then it's just crowds of people everywhere. I think that's too unstructured. I think this area we're going to now, everything's going to be compartmentalized and you throw your own party within the clubs.
Tell me I'm not wrong.
But one of the scariest things you can do is date in this generation. Bro, it's like I'm really hitting the point where like love, real love is dead. Dead, bro. I'm with my boys, right? And we were just meeting new people, making friends and stuff, right? We were with these group of girls. And when I tell you what I heard and what I saw with my own two eyes, that moment, I was like, I am never dating anyone again. All talking, we're all getting to know each other, right? And then one of the girls out of this group that we just met gets a phone call and she looks at us, bro, and she goes, y'all want to see something funny? Watch this. Her boyfriend was calling and she put him on speakerphone and they're talking and he's like, why are you not answering my calls? Like, you told me you were going to be home an hour ago, all this stuff. And she's like, babe, like me and my friends, like we're chilling, like don't worry about us.
See, he's confusing her with being a woman. She's a narc. Not all women like that. All narcissistic women are like that.
Guy goes, respectfully, he goes, hanging out with any guys. She goes, no, it's just me and my two girls. You are the reason. You are the reason I'm not going to date. You are.
Sounds good, man. Don't date, man.
Hey, man, I'm going to be honest with you guys, bro.
So here, dating in 2025 is impossible because modern women can't be trusted. See, this is the gender war here, and I think he's taking the male side. And inside this cluster of women, this group of women, the ones who hurt him were the narcissists, not the healthy women, right? Let's see.
Honest with you guys, bro.
Can you believe these aren't his real teeth? Aspen Dental's implant dentures are custom and natural.
Hey, man, I'm going to be honest with you guys, bro. I don't really think any modern woman can be trusted today. I don't think a single one can really be trusted today. Like,
See, what happens is that in order for you to heal, you have to escape the ego. But less than 1% of people have ever escaped the ego. So that means that 99% of the people are basically have a form of unconsciousness or a pre-consciousness and are simply following instructions of their ego, right? So the majority of people are like this, are challenging to deal with. However, when he describes all women, he's talking about the narcissistic women in that group, not all women, not the healthy women with empathy.
Gotten so pushy with the "I'm woman, hear me" roar rhetoric in like the school systems and stuff that like even at the beginning stages of school, they're driving this into these women's heads. By the time they get to the dating age, these girls they have like a disdain for men. They're like proud of being deceitful towards good men for the most part. Like the hookup culture is pushed so rampantly. I don't know how you can find somebody that would ever make a remotely wise, curious man feel at ease without settling for somebody who's got probably relatively, at the very least, busy past that you're going to overlook. Like, I don't think a lot of men realize just how normal the worst of the worst behavior that you see is becoming. Like, I'm at an...
Yeah, narcissistic sociopathic behavior is being normalized. That's what he's saying. Look here.
I hate when I see a man that's so fine and then I pass him and he doesn't say anything. Why men don't approach women anymore?
Men aren't single today because they can't get women. Let's kill that noise right now. Men are single because they finally realized one thing. Peace is priceless.
Women scared them all away. Today.
What's happening with my set here?
I hate when I see a man
See wives anymore. They see women performing the role of a wife until commitment. Then switching up once they feel secure. Dating phase? She cooks, she laughs at your jokes, she's sweet, she's supportive, feminine. Commitment phase? The meals stop, the tone changes, the cooperation fades, and she becomes his rival instead of his partner.
Me, along with all of my friends, are all single. We have so many.
Now she's describing what it's like from the male's perspective, how women change over time. And I think it's more the narcissistic women like here. You're talking about luring you into their reality and closing the door so you can't escape, so they can pimp you for everything you got. That's what she's describing.
We go to run clubs, the gym, social events. Like, we're out there, we're working. Where are the good men at? Where are y'all finding them?
Older men are calling it out for what it is, an act. And they're saying, I don't need an actress. I need a builder. Because let's be honest, fellas, a real wife adds value. She multiplies what you bring to the table.
Watch what Meg.
You know, that's a healthy person. It's not a real life. It's a healthy person. Here, let me introduce you this concept of the red pill. Okay. Now, this gender war, on the male side, they begin to sort of study the dynamics between men and women. And so let me do this first. Let me see here.
I hate when I see a man that's so fine and then I pat.
Let me see. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Red pill versus black pill. Oh, this is the black pill. Yeah. 4 stages of red pill. Wow. Okay, explain the real stages that every man will go through. What red pilled him? So the red pill is when you wake up to what's around you and you see what's really happening around you. That's what the red pill is. Let me show you here. let me see the red pill theme from the Matrix. Look at this and let me see.
Do you want to know what?
So you see here, red pill. This is what this come from in this movie. And listen to what Morpheus, how it describes it here.
It is. The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window.
That's why my podcast is called Reed Matrix. I'm talking about the same Matrix.
You turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch.
Yep.
A prison for your mind.
Yep. Now, they're talking about the ego. Inside the brain, the networks that configures everything and indexes everything is called the ego. That's the Matrix.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is.
But I'm telling it to you, it's the ego.
You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Now he's about to get it in. So that's what red pill came from. Men who were persecuted by narcissistic women. I mean, and they are everywhere. They're in all these institutions, absolutely everywhere, right? And that persecution by narcissistic women in family courts with children through parental alienation, employment opportunities, educational opportunities, environment, all of those. Now, these narcissistic women attack everybody, particularly men, under the gender banner. If there's any way that these narcissistic women can exploit you, they will. And it typically has the exploitation becomes more severe if you actually physically touch them. So if you touch a narcissistic woman, which is a bad idea, if you touch a narcissistic person, it's just a bad idea because that's a boundary violation and they can take the interpretation of that touch any way they want. He made me feel like this. He made me feel like that. If you touch them, you leave yourself open up to that type of exploitation by narcissistic women. So here, the red pill community, in a sense, was misled, severely misled. They felt that this was a trait of all women, but it's not. It's only a trait of unconsciousness, and that unconsciousness is present throughout within both genders. So that's what that is. And let me see if I can, explaining the red pill.
Thursday night football. Thursday night. It's on Prime.
Is basically an understanding of life, which basically is media tries to feed us a lot of lies and fairy tale stories of a lot of situations when we're growing up. So marriages and relationships and love are a good kind of base to speak about red pill.
You know, one of the core beliefs of red pill philosophy is that she doesn't really love you, right? And at the end of the day, she's always going to leave, right? There's even I think there's a theory that you have to keep paying a woman to keep her. I forgot the name of the theory and stuff like that, but it's similar to that. But this is the red pill philosophy, and I think it's kind of errored. Unfortunately, the number of people who have been damaged by these narcissistic men and women on both sides creates victims that narrow the argument and blame the other side when really, but then they have the same, at the same time where they're devaluing the other group, they're also accepting the behavior of the people within their group. So the men who are red pill, who look at all women to be parasites, basically, don't acknowledge, doesn't address or make aware the same behaviors that the men in their group are doing. So they're cool on your group. When you see it in your group, you're cool with it, but you just don't like it when it's expressed towards you. And with another group, with a different group. Does that make sense? Let me see here.
What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about the red pill community's motives. Somebody asked me, please explain the red pill community's motives and how to tackle these guys. That was the question. I'm gonna be honest. It would be better for you just not to tackle them at all. There's no reason to engage with the person you know immediately has to change, right? It's one thing to watch a person develop bad habits, patterns, and practices while you're already in a relationship that they have to evolve from.
Now you have all these people coming up with their version of interpretation. What would have to change here is the male superiority complex. So red pill community, I don't think it's a male superiority complex. I think these are men who have been damaged by narcissistic women, and they are misled to believe that that's a female trait when that's a narcissistic trait. And I think the other women response to the red pill movement, the women's response is that this is misogyny. These are male superiority complexes. They basically devalue what they were doing. And when the message get back to red pill community, of course, it feeds more animosity between the two groups. Let me see here what red pill men don't do.
You dream about moments like this. My goodness, the fastest female track and field.
Hey, Tony Gasson here. Y'all got to forgive me now. I'm driving, so can't look at you. But wanted to talk to you about this here and help you understand, like, the red pill community, what they call it. Even MGTOW, MGTOW, men going their own way. The manosphere, I really don't know what that is, but I think it's the same thing. I'm gonna tell you something, and a lot of this is very similar to a man who did not have a good relationship with his father. It's a man who, and if not his father.
Okay, I don't think you're talking about what we're talking about. So here, inside the men began to create groups called MGTOW. Okay, MGTOW is men going their own way. So it's a men's rights organization that's pretty prominent. I mean, it's huge. This movement is turning men away from relationships in huge numbers. And it's right now in the middle of World War III. I think if you're a man, it's best that you avoid all women. If you're a woman, avoid all men. Hey, It's time. Hey, we're about to go into war. It's time to start putting away your savings. It's time to start paying down your bills. It's time to diversifying your income, stabilizing your base. Intimacy and relationships are probably, it's not going to be a priority once World War III starts. And so right now, I mean, it's a good time to take a break for everyone, right?
Why men have given up on women. Let's face it, the red pill.
So MGTOW is men going their own way, simply just walk away from relationships. Now, here's the reason why MGTOW is going to be even more successful. MGTOW is probably the only solution, the only healthy solution that I've heard anyone in this gender war come up with. It's slightly off base, but it's still based upon no contact. No contact is the only way you're going to break yourself away from these psychopaths and sociopaths. So MGTOW does have the capability of providing a lot of help and assistance for men who've been chronically attacked by narcissistic women. It allows them to simply exit the dating scene by avoiding, quote unquote, all of those women. But that's exactly what you want to do, because after you've been abused by a narcissist, you don't want to go into you don't want to go into a relationship with a healthy person. Why? Because you're going to contaminate them with all the toxicity that you've been exposed to. So MGTOW is a very healthy coping mechanism because it says no to everything. It is a help for your finances, is a help for your physical health, for your mental health. It allows you to stay working and stay focused. It eliminates access, it eliminates connection and interference with other people's egos, which will save you a lot of suffering and turmoil. So MGTOW is a very good solution, and I would suggest that men go MGTOW and simply have no relationships with women. You're going to have to do this until you really don't need a woman at all, right? You're going to have to stay inside your reality, inside your world, and work on your world and build your nest and focus on all the things internally. And you want to, trust me, you want to build a nest that is so fascinating, that is so inspiring, that's so intriguing, that when a woman walks by, she's going to want to stay in your nest. That's how you do it. You can't go out there into a sea of unconscious people and try to randomly find someone that you're going to be compatible with. That's just like taking a handful of sand and finding 2 grains of sand that's matched just alike, even though each sand piece is different from the other, right? You'll get that analogy. So here, and so this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to, if you're a male, join MGTOW, leave all women alone. You're going to need to do that in order to get away from the sick ones. And same thing with women. Go women-tow, W-tow. If you've been targeted, abused, harmed, neglected, exploited by a male narcissist, leave all men alone. You're going to have to leave all men alone. You cannot have any intimacy until you re-healed. And the way you heal is you have to get all that filth out of you. So you're going to need a period of time that you have to decontaminate from all that stuff. And then you're going to have to start healing, right? And you can only do that if you're by yourself. So if you're a woman, I guess you take the same thing. If you are in relationships with chronic one narcissist after the other, you are surrounded by all of these idiots. And they are just taking turns.
Was not built overnight. As both a woman and a psychotherapist, my journey has been humbling, to say the least. The number one reason that men have given up on women and on love is solely because the gap between men and women is getting larger and larger. With women, there's the movement of I don't need no man. And then with men, you have that movement of when women are a liability.
It's just not worth it anymore. We don't need drama in our life anymore.
I don't think men like women anymore. I don't think that men desire us women anymore, us real women. I don't think that they value us like they used to. Men aren't really putting out effort.
That it was all their fault and they're going to grow and get better. No, there's never just fault on one side, and men know that. Second of all, most men that go through divorce end up losing a lot in the form of lost time with their children and financially through spousal support and child support. So many men just feel victimized by the court system. Thirdly, a lot of these men that get put through the ringer, they eventually build themselves back and they realize that they're a lot happier being single.
When you shop in the Jewel Osco app, you can count on us to choose fresh produce, guaranteed.
Here is why intelligent men stay single. At work, being logical is rewarded, but that doesn't work with dating. Women want to feel emotions. This means flirting, telling stories, and making her laugh. Only when you stir her emotions can her attraction for you grow.
Notice how it's always about what she wants, never about him. Her needs, her emotions, her fulfillment. Men's needs get ignored, dismissed, or treated as irrelevant.
Well, that's not true. For narcissist, he's describing a narcissistic woman, but it goes back and forth. So, the narcissists have healthy people arguing at each other, and they're not looking at the sick people who are next to them. I think you got my point. The narcs have everyone over here living in Fortnite. It's like a dog-eat-dog world over here. I think that's all I want to say. I would advise you to stay clear of the gender war. You stay out of it. I mean, if you want to run from anyone, run from the narcs. If you want to protect yourself from narcissists. And if you are a certain gender, and you have issues with the other gender, then first, you have to take care of those people in your gender first. I cannot deal with narcissistic women until I dealt with the narcissistic women. I cannot condone anything that they do. I cannot accept that anything that they do is normal. I have to reject everything that they stand for. And I have to stand for things other than that, right? I have to stand up for compassion, for empathy, for cooperativity. You're looking for a life partner, means you're going to have somebody who's willing to get down with you, get down dirty and fight back to back. And these narcs are only in it for themselves, right? So I hope you are finding this Narcissism as a Network series very helpful. And on this, the gender war, the narcs have everybody fighting each other while they are just sitting around and watching. The narcs turned the dating scene into Fortnite. You guys take care. Reed here. I'll talk to you later.